extra mile. You see, there was a law that Roman soldiers could literally make civilians carry their packs, their belongings, for a mile. Now, they had figured it out that 1 mile equaled 1,000 steps. And believe me, those civilians counted every step. And I don't know about you, but if I was one of those civilians, I'd have an attitude about those 1,000 steps. And I'd be thinking about it every step of the way. And believe me, I wouldn't be going an extra mile. Because I'm one of those people that you tell me to do something and I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. See? So when Jesus is saying, go the extra mile, I'm going to be saying, really? But that's what Jesus was telling them to do. Is to carry their stuff for an extra mile. And by doing that, it's making the Roman soldiers say, what? Who are these people? And this Jesus guy, what? He is loony. And then we get to this whole loving thy neighbor thing. And does that just mean my next door neighbor? Because, I don't know, it seems like he's talking about everybody. And that's just an awful lot of people. And Jesus, he didn't really live in a house, so who the heck is his neighbor anyway? Because he's all over the place. So we go back to Leviticus again. Leviticus 19:18 says, do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against one of your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. So he doesn't want us to seek revenge. He doesn't want us to walk that mile and then throw the pack down and then hide behind a bush or something and throw rocks at them. Although that would be fun, wouldn't it? Because we've harbored a grudge. No, he wants us to walk an extra mile and carry it longer. That's what he wants us to do. He wants us to love those soldiers, as hard as that may be. And that's hard. Because they're having us carry all that stuff while they're doing nothing but walking. And then we go into Romans 12:19 and it says, do not take revenge, my friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord. On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. So he wants us to basically shock these people. Do the opposite of what they are expecting us to do. Because you see, people expect us to be mean and contrary. How many times done something nice for somebody and they were shocked? Because they're not used to it. You know, you did something nice for a stranger and they were kind of taken aback. That's what God is talking about. That's loving your neighbor. Jesus said, and I can't think of where this is, but Jesus said, when he was thirsty, you gave him something to drink. When he was hungry, you fed him. When he was in prison, you took care of him. And the disciples said, but when did we do these things? We never did those things for you. It wasn't him they did those things for. It was for their neighbors. He says, whenever there is a need, we are to be generous. Deuteronomy 15:7-8 says, if there is a poor man among your brothers in any of the towns of the land that the Lord your God is giving you, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted toward your poor brother. Rather, be open-handed and freely lend him whatever he needs. Freely. That's a hard one sometimes. Freely lend him whatever he needs. He talks about when someone sues you, give him your tunic and your cloak also. I learned as I was researching this that meant not just the outerwear that they wore, but also their underwear. Because you see, that's all they had. They didn't have the nice full closets that we have. So that meant literally giving them the complete clothing that they wore. That made me think about St. Francis. He's my favorite saint. And when he became a man of the cloth, people thought that he had literally gone insane. And he did just that. He gave all the clothing that he had. His father became very upset with him because he was giving up his possessions. He had given up his wealth, and they were very wealthy. And his father said, fine, you can't have what I have given you. And so before the priest and before his father and before the people of the town, he literally stripped naked and gave over everything he had. And it wasn't that he was insane. It was because he believed that God would provide what he needed. And that is what he's talking about. So what is the purpose of Jesus preaching this scripture?